hello also from our side. First from me, my name is Denise Loga. I'm a sustainability expert with the focus on future food. I've co-founded 3 companies. I mentor startups and consult food businesses on how to become more sustainable, more future-oriented. And I'm in the topic of personal development and alternative business concepts over 10 years.
And well, before I start, I just realized that I have a parrot on my shoulder in this picture. I think it's nothing to do with being future-proof, but I think it's very funny that this parrot is on my shoulder, like a parrot. I'm actually a design thinking coach. Since 10 years, I'm working with HPI and with global companies. I'm also in consulting strategy and innovation in a systemic approach. And since a couple of years, I'm also a yoga teacher, meditation teacher. So also welcome from my side. We are both, Denise and I, the hosts of the Inspiration Journeys that are workshops and retreats, offline and online also. And we are dealing with future skills and personal growth. These are the 2 factors for us for getting future-proof.
Yes, and we have very diverse formats that we offer, from one-to-one coaching to webinars to online courses, but we will get into that later. But now let's get started.
Here we are with nicer pictures, and let's get started. So why are we talking about being future-proof?
Yes, so the future is something that is very uncertain, and it's going to change quickly, and there's a lot of high complexity, and that is the necessity why we deal with this topic, because we need certain selected skills, the so-called future skills, to make ourselves fit for the future. And this can be to be more resilient or to be more focused, so to cope with the approaching challenges that will come to us, smaller ones and also bigger ones.
Yeah, and as Denise already mentioned, how do we get there? How do we want to become more future-proof? We actually have our 2 babies, which is future skills and personal growth. And we have tools and principles in this topic that we like to share. And also that's kind of the core of the Inspiration Journeys. With future skills, we mean something like mindfulness or empathy or focus or resilience, as Denise already mentioned, or also entrepreneurial thinking or curiosity. And by personal growth, when we talk about personal growth, we talk about something like lifelong learning, getting out of the comfort zone, one of my favorites, and something like visionary thinking, so how to create a vision and how to actually break it down into measurable steps. So what we're going to do today is kind of the essence of our online program, which is we're talking about 3 different things. This will be, first of all, awareness and its principles, then continue with resilience, and then visionary thinking. For each, we have a little input, and then we have 3 different tasks for you. So we kindly ask you to provide you with 3 pages and 1 pen, or maybe 3 pens and 1 pages, whatever comes up to you is fine, but we need a little writing exercise. Before we do this, I would like to have a little check-in with you. So who's there? I see that's about 20 people right now. I think we all share the same situation, that we are in a lockdown and that we are kind of in a home office, which is also a kindergarten or some kitchens. And so maybe you have a certain picture of this. And I want you to, as a check-in, tell us your analogy for being in the situation, home office, in the lockdown. So can you please write in the chat, for example, I feel very secure in my home office with you, but I'm also really looking forward to explore in the future, to explore the outside again when I'm able to. So my analogy would be, this situation is like a cave. I'm well protected in it, but I want to look outside and actually leave the cave. So can you all please write down something? What is your analogy for being in this lockdown?
What is your picture?
And just put it in the chat so we can all read it.
How do you feel?
So freedom and different perspectives. What's the analogy that gives me a good picture of being freedom and different perspectives? A bunker, okay. Cage in a zoo. A zoo is great, yes.
In a bubble is also very interesting.
A bubble in a lot of senses, yes.
Great.
Business as usual, okay. So a lot of people talking about bubble, being at home. Oh, retreat.
A retreat or
retreat and a prison. That's funny. Caterpillar ready to become a butterfly.
Oh,
That's
that
beautiful. Who wrote it? Christina. Thank
lovely.
you. Nice one. Small country cottage. Also good.
Oh, nice. Wow. Well
Looking
done.
inside through a magnifying glass. Looking into the future. Also very nice. Good. Great. There are some also setting the right positive mindset towards the stuff that we are actually facing. Ponds of Triangle. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. We would like to continue with our first chapter, which would be awareness. Hold on. Why can I?
Yeah.
There we go. So the principle of awareness would be changing perspective and actually embracing and training the positive mindset.
Yes, and this basically includes diverse steps. So first of all, it's very important that we understand the current situation and that we embrace it. So we somehow, it can be very fearful for us. It can be anxious, frightening, stressful, but it's very important that we first understand what is happening and then also surrender. So being with the fear and holding it. And also, it's not that we are not allowed to be fearful or anxious, but it's very important to be aware of it and to allow these feelings that are coming up, it's a very new situation for all of us. So, but it's all about understanding and being conscious about it. And then it's also very important to realize that there are certain things in life that we can change and other things we cannot change. So it's a waste of energy and time to complain or criticize the things that we cannot change because they're basically out of our reach. But more focus all our energy and attention on the things we can change. So I give you an example. When I used to work with different companies and with the United Nations and NGOs, and at some point I realized I want to make my own rules of the game. And I realized I cannot change the existing systems. I need to build my own one. And this is the reason why I became an entrepreneur and co-founded companies. But I mean, this is just one example. Not everyone is made to be an entrepreneur, and it doesn't have to be. But it's just, focusing all your attention and your energy on the things that you can change. So that is basically what I want. What is the main message here about awareness, understanding, embracing, and surrender the situation.
For the fear part, I would really like to add that it's out of a meditation practice when you actually sit with your fear, as Denise mentioned, and you are looking at every aspect of the fear and you just put it on the table and embrace it and really sit with the fear, then you might realize at one point that you are bigger than the fear because you can sit it on the table and you can describe the aspects of it and you can discover something in it. Fear can't do it with you, so that's actually already one step to empowerment of being bigger than the fear and to actually handle it as long as we are aware of it. Of being aware, I would like to add two different points. So you might heard of this already, that your thoughts create your reality. So we really need to be aware of our thoughts also. And first of all, don't believe them all. This is kind of a radio that always produces thoughts and thoughts and thoughts. And we don't have to, really feel that everything is true of it. We can also let go of some of the thoughts. And we can even more influence our thoughts. And some of you might heard of this very clumsy term, the reticular activating system. The ones of you that haven't heard of it, just imagine something like a little bouncer in your head. And your belief system actually feeds the bouncer with information of what you let in and what you don't let in your brain, in your awareness. So, and guess what? If you have a negative belief system, everything you will recognize in the world is, of course, the negative part of it. Or even a very small and silly example, if you believe or you plan to buy, let's say, red pants, then your bouncer says, okay, every information with red pants I now let into the brain, into the awareness. and you will be surprised of how many red pants you see on the streets, or you saw a documentary about Tesla and next morning you are amazed on how many Teslas are driving around. They were there before, they just didn't care on your perception of it. So you can actually create your perceptions and your thoughts. I know that Ingo has a very nice example also on this program, and maybe he can share with us later on with the story about him and the money on the streets. But this has all to do with the reticular activating system. And so now these two information lead us to our first exercise. And we just have an example on how to actually create and then use the positive mindset.
Yeah, so
maybe an example also about this.
Yes, so it's very important to having a positive mindset is a crucial ingredient for becoming future-proof. And this has always something to do with changing the perspective. For instance, I give you an example. A few days ago, it was raining cats and dogs, and I just wanted to get out and spend some time in nature, go for a walk. I needed to go out of the home office. But then I realized, okay, then I needed to stay inside, and obviously I got more work done. And at the end of the day, you can say, to frame this in a positive way, the more it rains, the more productive I am. Or maybe another example is many people do not like doing the work in the house, like cleaning the dishes or vacuum cleaning. So, and what I do, I always listen to a podcast or an audiobook, and now I have reframed, changed my perspective and looked at it from a positive mindset. And I say, the more I wash the dishes, the more I learn, for instance.
Great. And this is what our first exercise is about. So get your pens and paper ready. Mm-hmm. And what we're going to do, Denise.
So first of all, please remember of a situation that happened to you today or during the last days that at the first glance appeared very negative to you, that make you either sad or angry or fearful, just like a minor situation. And then write down what is good about it and what is in for me. Like, what did this happening to me?
And have some maybe 2 minutes time for that. Just think about the situation and then try to reframe it in what is good about it. So please share in the, maybe just one word for the situation. Oh, there's one already. And one word for the situation and one word about the positive framing is already enough, but we have already here a very good one. Feeling stuck in the house. The longer I'm stuck in the house, the more effective I become relating to my remote co-workers by Zoom and Teams. Very good.
Good. Also very sustainable.
So what's good about losing a job? That's a tough one.
Yes.
So the negative situation is actually the fear of losing the job. And what is going back to school? Self-growth, continuing education, being more on a personal growth path.
That's very nice.
Very good.
Nice. Waking up early, the early bird. Yeah, this is also doing something different from Linda that I always wanted to do. I also, when I talk to friends and other people, they do something that they wanted to do for so many years or for such a long time. Now they're doing it.
Speaking my truth to folks I love. That's very powerful too.
Wow, nice.
When I'm arguing about the physical distance. Mm-hmm.
Good, like a challenging conversation, but you spoke about the truth. You cleared the air. You feel better now.
So really a sign of being thankful with the lockdown, with my parents and with the toddler. Mm-hmm. I learned to let it go and won't harm to be spoiled by grandparents.
Very good.
Wow.
Yes.
That's very deep. Thank you very much for sharing this. And I think we can continue on a one level
higher, meta level. Some of you have already included it now, but because you already had like very deep corona related answers. So the next step would be now really thinking about what is good about the corona crisis for you, what's in for you.
So corona crisis is really bad, we can't change it, but what's in it for me and what can I change and frame with a positive mindset? Okay, so devastating sound gets you out, waking up in fear and going outside looking for it, enjoy yourself by the river, breathing fresh air on a bench. Very nice.
Oh, nice.
Sometimes we have to think about it and then we think, this is silly, why should I do this? And it's actually like training our brain to actually look at it in a good way, because the situation, it doesn't matter for the situation whether you look good or bad on it.
Nice to think in all this complexity, more about different prioritizing more effectively in medicine, research, science. From Praveen, more free time because there's no commuting, no unnecessary meetings. Yes.
Rethink my career path and do something that I always wanted to do, because I had such a good paying job hindered me from doing it. Very nice.
Well, thanks to all of you.
Great.
It's good for the environment.
Of course, yes.
People treat each other better. Yes, Kim, right.
Mm-hmm. More time to write.
More time with the family, from Nina.
Practicing yoga, Tom. Yeah. I really like that.
We actually did that yesterday morning, a long yoga session.
Yeah, seeing the community becoming more closer to each other, helping each other out. That's really positive things on it. And I don't want to, celebrate the situation that we're in, but it has some good aspects of it. Definitely. We just have to be aware of it, and then we train our brain to be aware of more of those positive thinking awarenesses, rethinking on how I value and use my time. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's basically about rephrasing challenges into chances.
Yes. Good. Please feel free to drop your line if you haven't, and I think we continue with our second topic. And this is all about, and we're getting there already with this positive mindset exercise, into more resilience. And we mean the psychological part of it. So this is reflecting our own strength and resources.
Yes, resilience is really nice. Some psychologists once said resilience is the immune system of the soul. And we can look at resilience from very different perspectives, from the physical as well as from the psychological side. But we focus now on the physiological side. So it's very important. It again has something to do with your mindset and also looking at your strengths and your resources. And it's somehow also coming out of the victim's role, because at the moment we maybe do not feel very powerful. We are under lockdown. We don't feel that we can be maybe that effective as usual. And it's very important to see that we do not stay in a passive role, but that we actually realize, for this resilience is very important, that we realize that we are the creators of our own life, our own fate, and that we can design the future we want. And this is quite easy by simply looking first at our strength, so what we are good at, and that can be anything. That's not all the time related only to professional stuff. It's also like, you can play with kids, you're a great singer, you can paint nicely, whatever. So that is also already a strength. And then also what kind of resources you have, and then use this to nurture your self-confidence and make yourself resilient for an uncertain, complex future.
So there we are with our second exercise. Please get your 3 pens ready and your 1 sheet of paper, and just make a list from 1 to 10 on the paper with some blanks beside it. Just write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
It's very interactive with us.
Yes. And I see you writing on you being busy on the desk. We really like that. And if you're ready, then please just fill in the blanks, the parts beneath the numbers with what are actually my strengths. Take some 1 to 2 minutes time and really think about all different kinds of strength. It doesn't matter professional or privately, or to do with your family life or with your individual, with your sports, your intelligence, humor.
Anything.
Also what other people talk about you. Like you might not even believe it yourself, but trust the other people that are believing this certain strength is totally in you. So before we put it on the chat, just if you finish with this, just on the other part of the page, on the back, please write down the numbers 11 to 20. And continue celebrating yourself. This time, what are your resources? What makes you strong? What can you rely on? What are your sources of joy, strength, positive mindset, and so on? Please state your resources.
Resources can be certain people, your networks, it can be financial security, you may own something, it can be material, it can be certain skills you have.
So, secret knowledge, maybe.
Yes, these are all resources. So take your time. 1 to 10 strength, 11 to 20 resources. And if you're ready, you're welcome to share your 3 top strengths or 3 top resources into the chat.
Or a mixture of both. What are your top 3? And be sure we celebrate you also after you celebrated yourself, writing those down. So we have already tenacity, organized, and energetic.
Like that, Linda.
We need energetic people. I know a lot of people that are either organized or energetic. So in this combination, it's really a core value or added value, I think. Open mind, curiosity, and having ideas.
Problem solving, creativity, thinking on my feet.
Great one. Curiosity, analytical, and emotional abilities.
Wow, everything.
Passionate, creative, wonderful family. Oh yeah, wonderful family. That's really a resource. My parents, your daughter, your faith. Ambitious, empathic, interdisciplinary. Open-minded, analytical, organized. These are even 6. Resilience, empathy. Wow. Someone already deep into the resilience part, rehab. Very nice.
Learning, bringing people together.
Internet access.
Yes, internet access, right. Friends.
It's a good resource.
Yeah.
Savvy, secured finances. Yes, family and friends. Healthy body and brain. I like that.
I like the one here from Isik, not being shy to ask for help.
Oh, yes.
That's
we come to this in a minute. Nice one. Should we continue?
Yes, we will continue. Yeah, and what comes clear from all the comments you stated is that at the end of the day, meaningful relationships are most of the time the one that give us strength and are very valuable resources for us. And then we realize that we're not alone, we're sitting in the same boat, but we can support each other. Very nice ones. So I really like Isik's comment that one of his strengths is not being too shy to ask for help. Actually, that is a strength, because many people still regard this as weakness or are too shy to ask for help. But it's really, especially when we're living in such complex, fast-changing, uncertain times, it's very important to create synergies. And also from your resource list, you may have realized you need something that you may not have at the moment, but you can ask a friend or colleague or another person. For instance, a friend of mine, I give you just an example, he is perfect at online marketing, and I just asked him if he could support me with that for our website. And then in exchange, in turn, I offered him 5 personal coaching sessions. And or he has also a little daughter. You could also offer in turn, like, do babysitting. So what I'm saying here, looking at your strength list, when we need a resource, it's first of all very important to collaborate or cooperate, like to work together. And it doesn't have always be an exchange in money, but it can also be an exchange in value or service, like babysitting for writing, just as an example, or cooking for photographing, or I don't know. So we stop and do not ask or think we cannot approach someone because at the moment we do not have the money for it, or the budget is low. And then it's very important to realize that, especially in these times, that it sounds naive, but it's true. Together we are stronger, and it's very good to create synergies to approach these times.
Yeah, so it's a very good communication tool with your peers. So who can do what, and how can we actually support each other, and how can my peer actually help me growing even bigger? And we do this actually, like, for my part, I can say I do this kind of roughly once a month, just for myself. And sometimes I have different strengths that are coming up, and it really helps me getting more aware of actually my strengths. It's a really nice boost of self-confidence. And if I'm aware of my strength, I feel really more powerful in the situations that I'm in with complexity and uncertainty. And I really feel more resilient just by this very plain writing it down exercise. It takes 3 or 4 minutes, and then I have this energy boost. Good. So I want to continue to our third future skill. And so this is all about visionary thinking, how to create your ideal future. So just now we are combining our positive mindset and our strength. So the first two, awareness and resilience. And we like to have this awareness and the exercise we did to actually sharpen our future intelligence. So we're building on this confidence, and that really helps us looking into a bright future, because I'm with a high boost of self-confidence. My future must be bright. There's just no other means. And again, you decide if it's positive or negative. And so the future outcome will be accordingly. Remember this reticular activating system and sharpening your positive mindset. So at the core of it also is when we think about our positive future and of being future-proof, we really have to feel and experience it. We have to experience our future even today already when we are creating it in our brain. Our brain really works with pictures, and it works actually only with pictures. There's no text document in the brain. It's when you think about something, you have immediately a picture, maybe even a smell and all this. And so we really need those pictures in our head to actually help us ourselves to create our future. In fact, we can't even experience something that we haven't have a picture of, or that we hadn't had a picture of before, because our brain just works that way. So now our next tool would be a visionary writing exercise. So let's create some bright pictures for our futures.
Yes, this will take a little bit longer. So take your time. It's very important. It's a very nice exercise. And I ask you to close your eyes for that, because we first want to change the perspective by closing our eyes and really getting into the visionary writing exercise. So close your eyes and now imagine your ideal day 3 years from now. So on the 14th of April 2023. And go through with all the details through your ideal day. How would your day look like? Really think when you wake up, what do you do? Where do you wake up? Where do you live? What do you have for breakfast? Do you go for a run or for a walk? Do you play with your kids first thing in the morning? So be very precise and detailed, just thinking about 3 years from now, and include also all the fulfilled wishes and dreams. And also when you go through your day, it's very important, feel it. Like what do you touch? What do you smell? What do you eat? What do you see? And how does it look and feel like? So try to go very deep into this experience and go through your whole day, from morning over lunch, afternoon and evening. And then open your eyes and write it down. And you have 5 minutes for that. So it's a lot of time. Be very detailed and write down everything you see, your ideal life in a day, 3 years from now, with all your fulfilled wishes and dreams until this date. Don't stop writing until you're done.
I see you all very focused, concentrated, confident in writing. 5 minutes are over, and I really like to encourage you to continue this one after the session. So in order to have a good time frame for the session, maybe you want to finish this later. And also have another hint for you. I'm really passionate about this writing, so maybe as a second step, which you do later after the session, try to put yourself into the shoes of what you were actually writing. As Denise said, feel it, see around, be aware of the details that you wrote down, and then try to make 3 parts out of it and do kind of what we call a reverse engineering. So break it down into 3 steps in order to make actual measures, like to make concrete measures out of the vision that you had. So what are the measures in 1 year, in 2 years, and after 3 years that you actually reach this vision? What are the action, the key steps, the key activities that you need to do in order to reach this goal? What do you have to do in this year, in the second year, and in the third year? And then you can really, everything you do, you can actually, first of all, you can put this, what you were writing now, you can put it on the wall so you can see it every day, and write the measures beneath it, so your milestones and your key action steps, and then be reminded of it every day and think about your activities. Do they really support my vision, what I'm doing right now? Maybe I'm distracted from my vision, and it's good to have like a control mechanism on your wall. Does it really, the measures are key steps. Yeah, so I would talk about milestones, and out of the milestones, what are the key activities, the action steps in order to reach that milestone? And if I reach this milestone, I have another key activities for the second milestone until I reach my vision. I'm very passionate about you, so I give you a short look into my vision book myself. It's a book full of visions, 10 years, 7 years, 5 years, 3 years, and 1 year. I support it with pictures, so how do I see myself in the year 2020? It's actually this year already. I wrote down everything in detail, and then on the second page, I put on the milestones. What are the milestones? How can I really recognize that I'm there? And what do I need to do for this? Their milestones and the action steps in order to reach those milestones. Has something to do with money, with me sitting on a bench, and with me being at the sea. So really enrich it, and I can just, this is a very good practice. I hope you liked it so far, and please continue this vision. Also think about what are my family visions, my professional visions, my financial vision, my health vision. You can divide it also in 4 different steps and break it down from 3 years until now, until what do I have to do tomorrow in order to reach my goal in 3 years?
Have your visions been fulfilled? Yes, some of them have. And some of them will be in the future.
Yes. So it's, yeah.
So one key takeaway, we showed you today 3 tools, and to say we want to give you one key sentence, and this is basically the key takeaway is you are the creator of your own reality, and you should start to design your ideal life right now. Really now, it couldn't be a better time. This crisis has a lot of opportunities and chances to redesign your life, to rethink the systems you have created for yourself, and to make yourself more future-proof.
So this is actually a small essence, like a little choice of what we think of our performance and what we think how to become future-proof. And we have a little thing to say, but we first want to hear Ingo and also your questions. First of all, the more you repeat this very silly, it seems, task, the more you come to your strength and the more you can focus on your strength. what I recommend as a first step when you're really, puzzled and you don't know where to start, you can write to your very beloved friends, write an email and ask them to name your strength. So please, dear friend of mine, tell me 3 or 5 strengths that you actually experience with me, even maybe enrich it with an example so that I can actually have it easier to believe it, that it's my strength, and then write down those at first.
Yeah. And usually, it's like the feedback from other people. It could be also your parents, family, or maybe earlier teachers. And then it's also, you're feeling at what you're good at. And please don't see it in the context of the strengths in an application interview. I mean, we are full of strength and there's so much more than that. And this is also the reason why we specifically said, write down at least 10. There are more, yes. Believe it. But, it can be also things that seem very like unnecessary or not important to us, but these are still strengths, like your handwriting or, as I said, you're great at memorizing songs or poems or anything. It doesn't have to be always rationally connected to the work we are doing. But, I mean, we are full of potentials, and it's just an exercise that you can look into the mirror and see, okay, what I'm actually good at. Mm-hmm. It can be in the kitchen, in the garden, everywhere.
Yeah, actually, with the kitchen, I like to share an example from me, so you can dare to derive something out of like an all-day practice. For example, I do the dishes and I kind of like it. It gives me a meditative state. And then when I think about washing the dishes, I really like it clean. So I can derive from that. If I like the clean dishes, I'm very thorough with things because I really like to have clean dishes all the time. And being thorough would be a strength of me that I just discovered while I was washing the dishes.
He is. I agree. In terms of accountability, that's why we have like the milestones, because the milestones are like the smaller targets or goals. These are your results, like the in-between results you wish to achieve on the way to your ideal day, what we just had. And then the action steps are actually there. They are below the milestones, and the action steps are there to reach the milestones. So this is what you can actually do, because let's say in 3 years you want to have a complete new website, a new product portfolio. I'm just saying this as an example. Then your milestone is, okay, I need to have a new CI within the next 6 months. And then your action steps are, I need to contact a designer for developing a new CI for me. I need to apply for web page hosting, things like that. So these are the concrete action steps that you can do. And also in terms of accountability are basically your results. Your results are very crystal clear. I mean, if you wish to have a certain income or you wish to publish a paper, and at the moment you have these results, it's basically the accountability check.
Yeah. Also, if you trust a person, ask them, please, can you remind me that in 6 months, that I wanted to achieve this, this, and this. And please be thorough with this, and please make me accountable. And so you have another motivation of actually doing it, because you don't want to, look bad in front of your friend, or you don't want to disappoint him or her. So you ask other people as a control mechanism also.
You can also say, I donate $100 to any charity, yes. or say $1,000 or $5,000. If I don't achieve it, or if I'm not disciplined enough, it's now a little bit of penalizing yourself, but for a good cause. So and make yourself accountable to that.
I just want to build on what you guys said, because I think what shines through it for me is like figure out what made you achieve things in the past, whatever that was. And you said it yourself, Catherine, you had an accountability practice, it worked for you. So what were the conditions that made you succeed? And then depending on that, you will be able to define different motivators. So as we just heard, it might be money or a penalty. It might be being held accountable by friends, right? So making a statement, for example, on Facebook or to your close friends about what you're going to achieve. Or even if it might be a group of people that you work with. So you hold each other accountable on a daily basis. But whatever it is, figure out what was the mechanism that held you accountable, that allowed you to be accountable in the past, and see if you can replicate that. So, and as Steffen and Denise just mentioned, there are loads of mechanisms that we can use. And if you don't know really what it is, try out a couple of to see which one works for you. So that's just like on top of what was said already. Denise and Steffen, like as we come to an end, I also wonder, these exercises were super helpful already, and I know you have these fantastic journeys. So can you tell us a little bit more about these journeys? And if people want to go on a journey with you and continue with you, what would it look like? How could I engage with you?
Yeah, thanks for asking that, Ingo. So we have our contact details on the last slide. We have diverse offline and online at the moment, obviously more online formats. This is one-to-one coaching, very basic one, but we also have 7-day challenges where we focus on certain skills. For instance, if you want to train your focus, we have a 7-day challenge focus, resilience, also with reflective sessions with the two of us. For instance, on the 18th of April, we have a webinar on focus, and on the 23rd of May, one on mindfulness. So if you're interested, at the moment, I have to say our English site is under construction, but just drop us an email and we're happy to engage and reflect and see what we can do for you.